For once again, Mamunina Kwaba about your feed say so Pinaxtv. There's something which is really going on there. Menoka Siaman and even here in Ghana, it is trending on social media, especially on X. So the question is, Ediana Air Koso. Now, before I bet to us, we want to put this particular picture on the screens. Now, this particular picture on the screen, so it is the center of controversy. You see two leaders. One is outgoing, Michimu Yabako Airco, and also a former president of a country. And on your right side near ex-president Akufo-Addo, and on your left side near Emmanuel Macron, Sisiano Obabe fi adhere so as a France for prime minister. Now we all know the role Emmanuel Macron, who happened to be the France prime minister, what he's done and some of the things that he's led to West Africa. Anyhow, he has mishandled the relations with West African Francophone countries, and now so Emma Ibrahim Traore eba power. The Ibrahim Traore eba power crown. You've seen that this particular man has been doing all his best to the point, say, he tried as much as possible to lead a coalition to oust Ibrahim Traore from power, but then NC. So, maybe I think 3 years ago, before the 2024 elections, we saw almost all West African countries. So, the only president are not only Macron free, and not on any conda ekranda ex-president Akufo-Addo. He was the only person, not Macron, and just say and then the conda cranda. They were basically a good buddies at the point in time. Akufo-Addo be feared, yes, or Akufo-Addo eba France. Man, the highest honor, grand ordinaire, Akufo-Addo ayade yipa. But then since John Dramani Mahama ba power, he hasn't really been kowtowing to the West like that. I'm talking about a Francophone form country, and definitely they were angry. Say a ban is saying Mahama inauguration or invite the Francophone leaders are omudi kudita eba power. This man was not happy with it, but then that's sorry, for some reason, Mahama had to jet off. I don't know if this was an emergency meeting or so to France to have a meeting with French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron. Now, we don't know the details about this and also what this entails, because we know that West Africa has said it here. Almost all the French embassies, apart from Ghana and Nigeria, all of them is closed, and I think any Benin, because most of these Francophone countries, they've had coup d'etat. The coup d'etat that they had, they said, the mismanagement of the country was in part France was to be blamed. Why? Because these people and these leaders, they will come to power, they will steal money, and yes, still, whenever they want to take them from power, France be a. But whenever a coup d'etat, a person uses a coup d'etat to come to power, then France is angry. It's basically no to make close almost all France for embassy. But before I ever call into the details about what this particular meeting is about, let's put this on the screen. So say President John Dramani Mahama will undertake an official visit to France. Mind you, he is already in France today. Mind you, John Dramani Mahama is already in France. It's the ocean screen. So these are the pictures. Ebra Okopiemu France. You could see some people and some Ghanaians. As you can see there, they were greeting His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. These are Ghanaians and all Musiano airport or Ebro airport or ba or my line up. So these are very nice pictures there. But then what we are interested in is that what is Mahama going to do in France? And we hope, and we believe that Mahama will not be a puppet master for Emmanuel Macron, just like how he gave the kiss of death to Akufo-Addo, as you can see in this particular picture. Now let's read this. This is coming from Ghana's presidency. Also, President John Dramani Mahama will undertake official visit to France on Monday, that is today, 6th of April, at the invitation of President Emmanuel Macron. So we are now learning, this particular emergency visit, it was actually scheduled and a nipa opushi for this particular thing to happen. Emmanuel Macron. Now, it was also during the visit, President Mahama will attend the 2026 One Health Summit in Lyon, after which he will hold a bilateral talks with President Macron at the LC Palace in Paris. So we are learning, even though Mahama is going purposely at the invitation of Emmanuel Macron, he will also be going to a certain One Health festival. But then the head and tail of this particular meeting that is basically like an emergency meeting because up until last week, it was not on Mahama's itinerary. You get what I'm saying? Good. If you are learning, say, after Mahama have done some basic meetings, the main thing is that he is going to meet France President Emmanuel Macron. As I was saying, say, Prime Minister, forgive me. France President Emmanuel Macron at the Elysee Palace in Paris. Yet also, President Mahama, the founder and driving force behind the Accra Reset Initiative, will co-chair the high-level segment of the One Health Summit with President Macron on Tuesday. And we are learning that China soon in Shemudie be koso. Ama san Shemudie ne be koso no. John Dramani Mahama on Emmanuel Macron. They will chair another program. The summit convenes world leaders, health ministers, and global health experts to discuss pressing issues related to global health systems, sustained food production, and joint strategies to address health challenges. Now, according to Ghana for this particular lists and information on Monday, but Mahama and Macron they are going to talk about everything good for the country near the day, but then we don't know if it also has something to do with Ibrahim Traore, because up until recently you realize that Ghana, Burkina Faso banned tomato exportation to Ghana. Emma Ghana for the delegation Emma true Kasane dialogue into Burkina Faso have left the ban. Now, this particular issue with we are asking, is security part, is Ibrahim Traore part of the picture? What at all is going on? And the recent the forces, and I say German forces, France forces, they are in here in this particular country doing drills, mechanic drills, how terrorists and so on. Attack here, what we need to do and giving us weapons. Is this part? That is one big question at Air Course. Now there are also questions as to some people who raise say the France have been wanting to use someone as a tool, and obitimi use soon normal ousting Ibrahim Traore from power. That is one of the things I air course for. And the big question I'm for be and say, will John Dramani Mahama allow himself to be that person? Definitely no, but that is exactly what is really going on. I mean, say, people are not really what is really going on. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, say, Emmanuel Macron, John Dramani Mahama, Asian, many people, even within the New Patriotic Party, they are not happy about this particular issue. So that is exactly what is really going on. If you must say, it is because of the recent reparations talker, Mahama Ekulidi, UN, and France being a chief colonizer, no, I mean, we say no, they need to do something about it. They need to do dialogue, and we don't know exactly what is really going on. So that is the breaking news, as I want to say. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama could pay of France, and none of pay. That is the issue. They'll be holding a lot of meetings, and trust us, say, and one of the things we're also looking at is the reaction coming from a country, the Francophone countries, because we know that the Francophone countries, as it is now, they've left ECOWAS, forming the Sahel state. So is the French or the France people, are they trying to infiltrate their system? These are big questions that ultimately, we will need to be asking to say, so that is exactly what is really going on. Say Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, who PMCC are France. There are big questions, but as I said, and you be the full details in regards to this. Also, our comment section, we would like to ask you, say, okay, this particular France visitor, John Dramani Mahama, what do you think about it? Do you think it's something which is really good? Do you think at the end of the day, do you think, say, Mahama can do everything, but you should avoid persons and a people, a person like France president, because we know what France president can do, and at the end of the day, whatever Mahama decide, it can also affect our relationship with Burkina Faso. So that is exactly what is really going on. But definitely, you need the indemnity. Whatever happens, and we will give you more updates as all of this particular issues continue to unfold right here on this particular platform. Now, you better also near the camp of Gomwa. Yeah, quite the camp of Gumwa. Menuka say, yesterday that was a year, a Sunday program be echo so Gumwa, and believes that this was the Gumwa festival, which was being organized by a year A plus, Kwame A plus, who happened to be an MP in that particular area. But then we saw a lot of people go there. We are talking about the likes of Shatta Wale, Sarkodie, and a host of others, together with even Richard Ni Amakwe. But then there's a video trending on social media. Menuka say, amount for patches. Does it mean say the speculations are not any Kruma say FBI actually wanted to arrest Shatta Wale for fraudulent related activities? We saw say even Black Rasta came out and was talking about this issue. This particular issue was not Black Rasta, not all canon. It ended up in Shatta Wale and his management suing Black Rasta because according to Shatta Wale, in some manner Black Rasta air canon, it is denting his career. And also, don't forget about the infamous Lamborghini Iyoko Sizia. Up until now, Shatta Wale has not forgiven Iyoko boss Raymond Aka. But then, what really happened yesterday? Gumwa Central no for once. Now when Shatta Wale took the podium, he performed. But then during the performance, and as a mid-performance, Shatta Wale raised concern about one guy Aminoka saying he's battling court issue and battling extradition to the US. I'm talking about Frederick Kumi, aka Abuchika. Shatta Wale had this to say, and the big question is, what is the link between Shatta Wale and Abuchika? And then will this even further implicate Shatta Wale in the whole fraudulent FBI scandal? Here's a video of what Shatta said. Yebabaka Frederick Kumine I hate the streets of Gumwa to protest. Here's a video by Ebetwaso.
Muka free Abu, free Abu, free Abu, free Abu. Munim denti ame bo anyumu. Ghana yatsna siama in comfort my happiness so. Oh, a young boy. Now you say yeah, baby. My government and our government official behind Fabi Metal. So what did they make? So much Abu Trika. Because of 13,000, I mean, do now. Give me talk. Hey, showers on the reason. Hey, them don't know what I got up.
Okay. So what you saw was Shatta Wale, a brana, or no, so he was talking about this whole Abuchika issue. According to him, he doesn't really know what is going on, but then he wants a Ghana. He wants the people to free. He wants the Iyoko, the court to free Abuchika. Mind you, Abuchika has also been facing court issue, and it's not saying there. But me no kasi si I hate the streets. Omo hate the streets, and some of they come His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and say, regardless of what Abuchika have done, I will see who say on nipa. Let's give him a second chance and ask at least money bill. We have a video of what really happened. Abuchika hates the streets, and this particular video, you see them demonstrating, saying a whole lot of things, and even some people are saying, this is not really looking good for the country and also for a year. Why? Because if even Abuchika, if Yesika Accra, let's look at it from this particular angle. Each and every time piano abro from Babe Fire and Crawford. Yes, so obi to say a year Ken Ufuriata up until now intimi and fanning back. And yes, so we are here in this country saying say obi awedi boni bia and fanning video ye baba kebeto. So lady now who say wabo braids on that is a Abuchika Nayere. Now mind you, a lot of things also did happen at that particular event because we saw say even a year they did a song to some channel mankasa this time around say you know me channel His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the dingum pa and then the whole thing is so simple. What they are saying here is that Abuchika will see a free no because Oshasen and Semne Kona and even the way I'm called for any a year or to say a year Oliver Baka from who happens to be one of the lead counsels for Abuchika or Muchemu are no more party say and yes Abuchika could be a scout every I found a free me and also you perceive this can be fee a client so to beat me yamaya no more force and Abuchika then a castle could be you know a percentage so Abuchika issue no and yes the ABI were deep one action red-handed they are arresting him and I say they are taking him because of a bit more like a year the kind of exposure anas armeya anas oyeno and you better tell ye the aduane beto so on sat tomudia and ya so that is a year one of the issues are equals amount for parties nipa na ndi bone but yes still no yes the why me before then ye share some of the scenes e course so e wo ye ba ye beto aso
Ghana, it's not Siama. In comfort, my happiness. So, oh, a young boy. Now, you say, baby, my government and our government official behind Fabi Mato. So, what's the Americano? So much Abuchika. Because of 13,000, I mean, do now. Give me time. Showers on the region.
Okay. So that was Shatta Wale or no the Oko Gumwa so performing a year Gumwa festival with this particular Gumwa festival no it was basically a festival A+ a year and a year or kasa on tia sidiniti Abuchika because to him no or case close there it's like the issue be at to Abuchika so that is it. They put the issue on him, and then currently, as a government, try maybe at the end of the day, they don't understand. So to him, from the look of things and from what is going on, it will be very much prudent for the government to step in and do the needful. It's needful. Also, me and they say at the end of the day, I was so me Abuchika. What do you really think about this? Because issue, I been saying more and more people are talking about it. Even I can tell you, that people in government are not happy because if at the end of the day, you bet fat in Kofobe 4 that Joe remix and Kofobe Bray, I felt Kofobe Bray, every I bet Kofobe Bray in the name of fraud. It's here for Yintimi and fa US fund teaming cast almost a year can frata ever break. It's one way deportation ban one way if any transaction ben here, and this is one of the reasons I know casino casa no and casa no air cost. So that's an issue air cost at the end of the day, we'll very much be happy to get your feedback based on this particular thing air cost. So do you think that this campaign air cost or no? Perhaps even if Mahama doesn't want to get involved, Krana on use Abuchika as a bargaining chip in a way say abrofono omunfa kenufrata embreya, then there's no need for us also to hand over your friend is saying Abuchika to them because this is a country I claim say abrofono won't be there so you pay reparations. If you want reparations, you need to stand up to them. It's for you to keep your systems in a bear in Kofo in Viamu. it's not for us to keep our system. So that is exactly what is really going on now. Let us know what you think in the comment section, because this issue, about the national concern right now. Now, so on this particular platform, if we are Santua Edrudu, we all know about her recent issues at Air Koso. But then this particular recent issues at Air Koso, no, Kamiako say each and every day there's a new angle or there's a new twist to it. Therefore, new angle abe tuma ama manfo bebre omuyim ahye omono party say if wa santoa ne bakan ana ne baba de bi so ne ye TikTok video ni ade apparently ye chim ye says ne baba enye papa ne ba. Now I don't know if this has to do with any DNA issues or not, but we are learning say if wa santoa all ba no na ode ba ene ba, and we are also learning say this particular man involved and then ye did not done trap here on TikTok de bia ye see ne so no. What we are also learning is that this particular man, he was also married, but then although any ahwofe, any oba or yet tintin gramintino, what we saw was that this particular man actually left the first wife and ODBD a year ifwa asantua each year, and then obineka say a crudin and Quebec say kaime sabepe yintie in sema abetuja see babaka. We will continue with this particular.
Sheme pao. Cause no ma worry any me fedodo. If we also kuno unsupportive. Awari na uko mudu ba ekoye. First born no enye papa neba eye kwame ba. But papa ni so mu. Obi akre hu kra se akola no enye neba first born no. Enye neba o. Sana wo so mu no. Be ma ahe na betimi aso obi be musa. Onim sese ye oba e wono so ba because wa bod na ba awari. She Singaton, Sena Bemani Jinan Naso, a support you. How many men will do that? If we, I hope say it's a prank. Because it's a prank, dear Munjai. And your prank to swallow, while you're never for be bring you womb, a your muffe. So that be may cry or bag, be may jija will so. A young for fed do. Months nasi, namun resolve it. A bema, ena. Assembly to say, months na more result because go for shama worry if shame.
So that is the issue I also about if we are santu do num na worry am no ka say no abetu just say ano eba no ne bakan no enye papa ne de. But then if we are santu ankasa no you could see say for once Ghanaians are not really supporting her ebra or washing a dirty lining outside. But then she made things clear for Ghanaians because ma ni PRO and the public's nipo kasama ni kasama for Echo United Showbiz, they phone him in and on to just our really dear as it is down. First, na ehangia, and as a first, na separation now is just divorce. Indeed, of course, you buy a better also.
Lizzie, a be the atom patch, dear someone.
First of all, thank you so much, and thanks to your people and everybody who is watching and listening. I get behind my customer within this week.
But you wait to me on Neso Kakrama, me why Miss Row?
Yes, week way internet, so I am and then idea make us say manage personally, and also be some phone so idea or manage but abandon either abanisa and I'm yabi do something so we and one idea we want to see I.
Me patcho it says yes sister then no person communicating with us and they are sempan no person will catch because this week you know say almost separate and statement na mo dia but then no person will catch because the person will catch and no na match.
Okay, so maybe on my personal issue next week I'm dealing with the business side, you know.
Okay.
So I'm say then you know say ever since a year in that or no. The tagging of she's ungrateful, no. I could say I tagger a dinosaur. On a baby, a company say, yeah, will be in a car or your way, but later on, you find that the number be a cosu. On one personally, Nankasana on your way, say, yeah, and finally say, me do the example, Empress, Oba, what did you do? A buy, once you know that was also got number here as long as I can say oh if you are the young this for me by year we can one by year one madam into aha ne teacher ni na ni dedi e koso na ye ade ba ko pese she's not ungrateful menka anya bia ni ba ko ye in charge of honor right up ni bia no o tumi be clear and say ebia me ho kafo onye grateful onye like ungrateful you know but ebia ne kan social media no so bala is not there we na obi ko kan bi na a provoke no na oja ko kanya ne ko so eden okay but ni o hu wo na na say people tagging me as ungrateful whereby things that amount for instance that come last year or last was so I did explain things that away like you know I've been talking to people, pleading with them and all of that. Say never and I say me artist if you are so on you ungrateful and you man be no on you aware after now all you aware of it. Internet no.
Okay, me pacho, me person me bisa say ungrateful no and who press release na mo dia ba no.
Na and I make say our awareness side media mean to me anything and tackle for honour because I am very sensitive. You get it? They say I'm no cassette both family no. They say I'm no cassette mommy mom is both family no and having meeting like no and cassette just to solve that issue. Yes. Into young from Pibonia, you must say.
Me pacho, who the agina so me pese MC everyday ade na me to me pese MC pacho. Gift him
me pacho. So the press release a year if was Santua Singleton Ede Aba for immediate release. Almost say official statement from Ifwa Santua. Also, in light of recent public discussions and circulating narratives regarding my personal life, I find it necessary to address the situation with clarity, dignity, and respect for all parties involved. I wish to formally confirm that my husband and I are no longer together. This decision was reached privately and with careful consideration. And I kindly request that this transition be treated with sensitivity that it deserves. It has come to my attention that certain false claims and misleading interpretations have been circulated. I would like to categorically state that many of these assertions are inaccurate and do not reflect the truth of the situation. I urge the public and media to refrain from speculation and to respect the boundaries of my personal life. I also wish to address the perception that I have been ungrateful. Let me be clear. I am and have always been deeply appreciative of every individual, opportunity, and experience that has contributed to my journey. Any portrayal suggesting otherwise does not represent who I am. As a woman committed to growth, purpose, and impact, I remain focused on my path. I will continue to pursue my dreams, break barriers, and contribute meaningfully to society through my work and advocacy. If any of my expressions or utterances during this period have been misunderstood or have caused unintended concern, I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience or distress caused. That was never my intention. I appreciate the continued support, understanding, and goodwill from my community, partners, and the public as I navigate this phase with strength and grace. Thank you. Ifwa Santua.
Moses.
Yes.
Okay. It is a métier dia o artist and the buy. Na kyerɛ sɛ or catch say finally no oni ni kunu ejai.
Okay. Omo ntamatete but they say ekoba we nyina ene manipulate we nyina ejina say Nikunu Kofi respectfully I do respect him a lot. Say on to me for the past 2 years and 3 years me and make clear say my wife on your ungrateful.
Oh.
Sa enema we na akọ we nyina ede aba out.
Now, as some woman to me can with you. Why social media?
And what is that from power? You can't do with both years out. You catch it. Since last year in America.
And then a man, if you want a quadrige, if you are Santo, if you are Santo, say out.
Also, bloggers may need almost like close to Nikuna and Togoya. Now, we are putting on so say, on also now social media only move, or no economic for maybe. So we need to now say no, wait, I have to sometimes make us to know, don't. But also, sorry to say, and man, sometimes the mood use that speech now. The one make you move, needs to be catching Jaya, certainly, Minyaba, me so. Omokase and Kasa, but now, you see, I mean, Amani, I could do so.
It's not me, Pacho. So I already encourage you with Busiao. Think I be and said, yeah, na, Sisi and Odi, a ye ababetu officially. And Kawen and Kay Busiasana, is it something about prank? And now, so say, clouds be, and now a social media trend.
No, there be
because the whole thing, who dream one said that yes.
If you have to say, Mamma clear, or see our anyway down until said, or the papa, Ama and Yama, I you know. This is we are Nicono Abba air, Abba clear, and Yama, only Nikumbe clear, man, because so we busian for marriage is between families. No, so okay, so our way, at the Kuna. Singleton, we are
ungrateful. Okay, maybe so the ungrateful, Asha, ungrateful, actually say, if you obi the sikebi buy, obi be donation be, and maybe or no if you are Santuano want because I am not a boot in him. 80 percent be say, or person chere say, and you may be a good dinner, I'm ban the one I said day, and now own him Nama says.
Okay, so any money be a teamwork.
Okay.
And a team say mediama because I don't know or no penny in power original at the money because the Fiasanta I will boot. So after everything, no more almost me report to man no to me call that, I know to me call that. But to do them working now for that, I know we are backfire. That's why you're grateful. I know one that.
Now, I beginning, no. If you are 20 million, I say, I don't know, minimum she, Neko see me kuno. So that will be able to say, okay, I don't know, mammy, where could see me kuno. And the one Chemusa from the beginning, because now I say, which Chemusa so be able to say, you're grateful.
It is a say now, on any kunis now. I see the bay, the dear omtadi from the bay, in Pacho, myself. When I will show me write up any video, they say I think you're ungrateful, whereby you know them you're ungrateful.
Good.
Sure. Now from our team, no, or more me bloggers, no. Now a clear sorry because a hammy. Me personally, many or no Mr. Kofi, a Fiat I was in Chicago. Am I now phone so for almost like 1 hour say let's do a press conference. Let's get a place in whatever. We got a place in East Lagos. Say we say like we will call media people to clear the air. That was last year, middle of last year.
Okay.
But for whatever happened, this one say okay, only the guys in the Kasana was sending first way at their mom. But nothing happened. And it keeps coming. So me personally, I have solved a lot of the problems behind the scenes.
Okay.
Because like I'm men. It is our ungrateful in our akopa or moving in our back.
Ain't no money problem. But sir, after Singatono, ungrateful no. And no na cause and I said there is something behind the whole issue. I be a papa na yena hano but all to me kind eno. Because say no dear, I think that the family can sit down. If they have a pastor, they have a counselor, I think they come to me, I could behind it and then do something about it. because here social media in-laws see a better way. Oh, be a better than I drink.
You're right.
And I don't think say Ebwa ni image in our building. And I'm a patcho there, maybe sound no on to say.
No, it's true, it's true.
It's a patcho says, see, idea.
Okay, so yeah, that's why Sony Ifi the camp of Ifua Santuaho. Recently, the update we bring on this particular platform about the tomato ban Burkina Faso imposed. Even though His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is currently in France, he sent a delegation to Burkina Faso to speak to Ibrahim Traoré to lift this particular ban. No, we have already started looking elsewhere or having a plan B. Now, there are many things we could have done to hit Burkina Faso. We could have easily closed them out harbor because the Hona Omuyu mind you, Omuni Togo, Benin, they are not really free like that. In Ghana na say harbor no ben omwa omutimbe use freely. When we block it, they are doomed. And looking at how Mahama free passage, they won't be getting the same thing. Now, regardless of this particular thing, President John Dramani Mahama or the Simbi Ababe Tuja or no any the governor of the Bank of Ghana said recently Ghana Burkina Faso announced tomato ban announced and Ghana is actually taking steps to revert or stop these kind of things from happening, thereby what is the president and Ghana planning? You share this video, Babaka. We will continue.
And so, like I said, we're all happy, and one of the good things about this Kwewu Business Forum is the panel discussions. It gives us the opportunity to bring people who are in positions where they can give us more information and interact with us, the ministers, and I'm happy that Gumzi Tano, who led the whole 24-hour initiative, had an opportunity to do a panel discussion yesterday, and there he talked about a $3 billion import bill. There are some things that we do not have a comparative advantage to import, to produce, and so we necessarily must import those things. But if you look at our food import bill, the majority of the things there are things that we have a comparative advantage to produce. We have the land, we have the water, we have the sunshine. And so it's still quite a shame that we have to import things like that. Recently, when Burkina Faso announced a ban on fresh tomato exports to Ghana, people say it's going to be an emergency, there'll be a crisis, there'll be a shortage of tomato. Why should that be the case when they even produce in the Sahelian region? We have better climates and conditions for producing tomato here. But it also triggered a response. And so the Minister of Trade, the Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Finance have come together to initiate crisis tomato production in Ghana. So we're building 60-hectare irrigated lands that would have water for all year-round tomato farming. But it's not enough to just grow the tomatoes. We should also put in the processing capacity so that we won't have tomato gluts like we are having with other products. And so we should start thinking outside the box. The Minister of Finance is going to come to Parliament with a comprehensive document on the new economy we want to build in Ghana. And so when it's ready, we'll circulate it, you'll take a look at it, it will come to Parliament, the people's representatives will debate it. But agriculture and agribusiness is going to be one of the priorities. We're going to select specific areas where government is going to intentionally mobilize investment to go into. And so those areas are being selected, and we intentionally mobilize both our own resources and any resources that we can get externally to invest in those areas so that we'll get measurable outcomes within the shortest possible time. And so that will come to Parliament, and I'm sure that it will give us the opportunity to be able to grow our country faster.
Now, it didn't end there because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Okan Samanche, and the governor of a Bank of Ghana, so in same trust. But then there's a whole lot of things really happening. In Sama, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, or the Tuja, about this whole issue. As you see, it is a big disgrace. Say, Ghana, we can't even produce tomatoes. We have better land than Burkina Faso. In Sama, BOG Governor Johnson Isiama, or the Tuja, about how our Ghana is vulnerable because Burkina Faso is saying, say, they will not allow us to buy their tomatoes.
So I went to a program recently and they asked me, so Mr. Governor, what is next? You know, economic stability, we understand that. Sentiments are stable, that's fine. What is next? And I said, okay, it is now the real job is going to start. Stability is good, but people are hungry. There's unemployment everywhere. So what do we do? And I said, okay, so the next step now is to strengthen the markets, the banking system, the markets through which our policies work. So if you notice, we are really on the banks. We are coming up with a number of guidelines, a number of exposure drafts. All that is meant to strengthen their health. Because when the banks are strong, it can give more credit, lower credit, not so. Yes. And so this year is about attaining efficiency. It's about strengthening the markets. And so far last year, we came to meet some legacy issues, a number of banks that were not having enough capital. By the end of the year, we're left with just 2 banks, more or less, that still needed help. We are sure within the next 2 months, those banks will also recover fully. And so with that, we are then clear that the banking system is back on its feet. So the next thing is how they can give more credit. I am very passionate about private sector credit. You know why? When I look at our peer countries, talking about Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, all those peer countries, if you take the amount of credit that goes to the private sector from the banks, and you divide by GDP, and compare to all our peers, Ghana is the least among them, the least. Kenya is doing about 30%. Ghana is doing around 8%, just 8% of GDP. So it's not surprising there's a lot of unemployment. It's not surprising the private sector, is still really under pressure. Think about the high interest rate environment we came from. And I was at a program the other day, and I said, if a business borrows money at above 30%, how do you expect that business to repay? I mean, interest rate at 30%, what are you going to use the money for? So it's not surprising we have all these high levels of NPLs that we are coming from. Our focus currently is to engineer a low interest environment, a stable exchange environment.
For in Sema, a governor of the Bank of Ghana or the Tuja. But then one fascinating thing too, which is really happening, a shocking kofobi brain is as we are here talking about issues we cause so and tomatoes and economy near the adeno. Onion sellers are also complaining, say, onions be brave. Be brave and talk Jenny. If we into screen so it will load in a minute. You realize that Jenny 4 complaints, which shall say onion farmers in Ghana's northeast region are reportedly struggling to find buyers for their produce, facing potential losses after harvesting their crops. So that is exactly what is really going on. So as Ghana yeka so niema enko yeni ade no onion sellers, yes you see you need tomatoes. But the Jenny 4 party say Jenny no ya mana broso. Ya mana ede mana broso. But see ano ye struggle see e benya nkofo atofo ye struggle. So the question is in toes Jenny so abaso yen talk. So the whole issue has to do with preservation because the intia even beka say yen pese ye be in toes and yen pese ye be tomato farming e ukroma is because uye tomato farmer na uye tomato farming na what's tomatoes na acha within 4 weeks or 3 weeks, say one ton say. So yen teaming put in measures a bit preserve no for a longer term and a longer time into no ama enye profitable to farmers. The same thing is happening to onion. Ebe kakra ebe start Accra Jeni. Ebe kra Jeni ukruma. Why? Because the people who do onion farming yen talk na at the end of the day. Sa onion ni nyina esaya akoye omoka. So that's exactly what is really going on. But then you be few ways so ni akwa the camp of a year Anas Aremeyao Anas. It's been a long time since we heard of Anas Aremeyao Anas, but what is really happening? Well, me no can say no information about Beka and such as patch say there are some people I didn't seem be able to just say Anas Aremeyao Anas. Maybe or yes expose be on parliamentarians. Umbra number check Ghana for the intel releases our parliamentarians and a parliamentary expose. Mind you, can Japan the kind hints are same way that. But then the bia can Japan can na saidin. But nano or before fro I find the Vitus Azim. Or ye anti-corruption crusader or no so or Babe Kasa say Anas so a credible journalist on releases are expose on parliament. Now don't take my word for it. Let's put this on the screens. Or say, why did Anas not publish his expose on parliament? Vitus Azim asks. Why did Anas not publish his expose on parliament? Vitus Azim asks. In social media screens, or say, anti-corruption crusader and former executive director of Transparency International Ghana, Vitus Adabu Azim has raised questions about the whereabouts of an investigative report compiled by award-winning investigative journalist Anas Aremeyao Anas. According to him, the said investigative report was on the Parliament of Ghana, which was previewed to a group of people, but was never made to the public for some reasons unknown to him. According to Vitus Azim, no, sa expose Anas Aremeyao Anas oyevye. All Anas Aremeyao Anas, all he had to do was to preview the expose. But then Anas Aremeyao Anas was to bring the expose out. But once Anas Aremeyao Anas or expose now or pen kufuku bi we di kan ade atro more like the preview. No mashe okay how is it near the and sakra na bia or the back out on the common BBC or the akwa komo. No ena me no ka say no sa expose no anko foko share no amba out da etitufo bebre woman by this time ko bebrebu ku ya learn say the expose ache pa ekobeye 12 years or so. Na ena Anas so aba respond. Na yemfre in some kan wa have verbatim Vitus Azim ni quoting some Anas because he Anas mentioned that he had another expose on the legislature, that is parliament, and that he was going to release it soon. How many years now? It hasn't come out. He said during a panel discussion at the 2026 National Forum on Media and Fight Against Corruption in Ghana held in Accra. He suggested that some powerful people might have notified of the expose, and they did all they could to stop him from being published because he gave a copy of it to an exact, because he gave a copy of it or an extract to the leadership of parliament, and somebody said this cannot be published yet. They also this cannot be published. You cannot put this in the public domain. Why did they not publish it? He fumed. In summer, Vitus Azim Obisa Sisia and say, Anas yes our parliamentary expose no or the Kochenko for Kakribi any day times in Penifobia no more parliament and then Penifons I did all the bar a big good gun in Nimase until you show your public. You can't show this in public. You can't show this what in public. And no, and Anas, or the forces from above, we name their causes, that we don't know. And I be expose in and bar out. Now, Anas Aremeyao Anas, and same way bar out, no, he had to come and defend himself because Ken also raised this particular concern. Until also at the press release about this particular press release or the buyer, he is telling Ghanaians and he's explaining what really went on. Is there any expose as such? Expose no about parliamentarians. So I didn't know release here. Anas Aremeyao Anas also had this particular thing to say. Let's read this. So you can also follow through with us. I'll say this was dated yesterday, 5th of April 2026. And this response to Vitus Azim, this is coming from Tiger IPI. So one, Tiger IPI has taken note of a second statement by Mr. Vitus Azim. Two, Mr. Azim refers to a meeting between Tiger IPI and anti-corruption civil society organizations around the time of the judiciary expose. And I say party say yes, they've listened or they've heard what Azim is saying, but then they met Azim. Tiger IPI met Azim when they were doing the judiciary expose. 3. While such a meeting did not take place, its primary focus was the judiciary expose. And I say party says a meeting be called so. Now, I would say it's about parliamentarians and the legislature. It's not about the legislature. It's about what? The judiciary. 4. During the engagement, Anas was asked, among other questions, why Parliament had not been investigated. And Opari said, "Ebra Ushi anti-corruption organization, that's anti-corruption organization, as civil society organizations, any anti-corruption organizations, Omu bisa Anas, I didn't na uninvestigated Parliament." 5. In response, as he consistently been the case, he indicated that Tiger IPI will look into Parliament. And now, omubisa Anas and Tiger IPI catch almost share Parliament in Chibia. 6. This response cannot be misconstrued to mean that Anas has concluded investigations into Parliament or that such work had been previewed by members of Parliament as claimed by Mr. Azim. And no party say in some Anas can say Parliament mu. And no just say parliamentarian expose ni aye anase aye wie. 7. It is important to emphasize that every institution, including Parliament, remains on the anti-corruption radar of Tiger IPI. And not just say, see, I know the Tiger IPI should be and yet just a particular place. 8. Therefore, when Tiger IPI states that it will look into a matter, it reflects an ongoing interest and does not imply the existence of a concluded investigation. And I'll say the entire Tiger IPI can't say no interest say Tiger IPI can some parliamentarian issue no investigation into Parliament. That doesn't mean so my and out and so if they are doing it, they will let Ghanaians know at the right time. 9. For the avoidance of doubt, Tiger IPI has neither concluded nor shelved any investigations into Parliament. So I say, see, Tiger IPI and conclude and as someone found anything about Parliament and share with group, we said they will not do it. 10. When Tiger IPI concludes any investigation, it will without hesitation make the findings public, as it has always done. And if Mr. Azim has evidence of concluded investigations that has been shelved, let him share it. And I say, if at the end of the day, Tiger IPI move your investigation, they will let people know. Meanwhile, or try say, if this particular man, Mr. Azim, yes, Mr. Vitus Azim, or if our evidence said Tiger IPI investigation to Parliament, and then they are not bringing it out, he should bring it out if he has. Mind you, this particular issue, it has been going on for years. King Japan, many people even said this, and now Vitus Azim, who happened to be an anti-corruption crusader, is saying this particular same thing. What do you think about this particular issue? Therefore, we'll be very much happy to get your comments on this particular issue. Thank you so much for watching us on this particular platform. And yeah, demo ABC.